Hey everybody, and welcome back to Create Above and Beyond. Since we last left off, I've been letting the drill mine the blocks. I know a lot of people were saying I should wire up an observer so the piston only fires when it needs to, and maybe I'll do that eventually, but I think when I show you what I've done in between episodes, maybe you'll forgive me for not wiring up an observer. So I have a chest over here. It's empty, and that's because I decided to rip off the band-aid and get all the blocks instantly exporting onto a conveyor belt. Shall we go for a little ride? Why not? Let's follow the block as it makes its way up into our factory. And I say factory because I promised I was gonna do some aesthetic upgrades, and that's what I've done in between episodes. So as you can see, the block comes up and it feeds into the chests. I'm gonna sort this better because I thought I can use drawers and just make it so each drawer only holds a particular kind of block. So that'll be a much better way to sort it. I just didn't think of it until after I set this up, but something to do in the episode. So welcome to the factory, everybody. I went and I used the chisel factory blocks in order to try to spice this up a little bit and make it look more factory-like, since of course I started off in the first episode just taking over a pre-built house, and I know a lot of people are like, I can't believe he's gone and done it again. So I wanted to make it up for you by showing that I'm committed to making things look cooler, even if it is underground. So welcome to the newly overhauled basement. I made it more, homey, wooden here where the chests are, but then you go over here and all of a sudden it looks a little bit more factory-like, where we have the smelting set up and the caution lines like, oh God, heavy machinery here, don't go in. And then of course over here, hydraulic press, don't get crushed by it, heavy machinery, warning, warning. And then I actually brought inside the strainer, and I left a couple other slots here so that we can make more of the strainer bases and add more of the nets so we can have that going. People were saying that I can actually just feed nets into a hopper, and I could put a chest on top of that if I wanted to, and I don't need a deployer to actually add new nets in once a net expires, and then that just hoppers out into a chest over here. And I've got this now pre-wired so that we can add a funnel onto a belt so we can export from here when we're ready to go. So I basically just ran off of the main shaft that we have coming from over there where the windmill is, and I just have it going into here, speeding it up a couple times, reversing it with a gear shift, and so that's just pre-wired, ready to go. And then I also added another shaft coming underneath, running under here, coming over to here, so again I can use another funnel coming off of this chest, and I'll add a belt and we can start to sort the items out of here because it's getting a little backlogged with our tree farm. There was some insightful information about the tree farm as to why the deployers were being a little bit wonky to start with, and it was a good call out that the reason why is because the deployers are facing sideways. They had to place the saplings on something, so it only worked once I had like existing saplings that the deployers could place against. But since then, it's been going. I added some stone blocks over here so it wouldn't place down any saplings where the saws can't reach, and it's been working super duper well. And yeah, we're getting a little bit backlogged because now we have 3 chests of buffer and it's almost filling up the 3rd chest there. So that's why it'll be good to get the sorting situation started out here. But anyway, I hope that you like the factory. It's unfinished at one end because I think I'm gonna have to keep expanding it in this direction. So that's why I haven't added any blocks out there, because that's gonna be like work in progress space. We're gonna have this moving, we're gonna have that moving. We gotta bring the kelp in from the outside, but all in all, feels good. I still got some buffer here on the blocks coming out from down below. It was so fun riding the conveyor belt up. I've done that a few times now. So it's like, dude, instead of having to climb a ladder back up, I can just come in here, right? I factoryize this a little bit too. I can drop down into the water, and then when I need to come back up, I just, rather than climbing up the ladder, I go up the conveyor belt. I can browse Twitter or something and ride it on up, and then we're back here. It's awesome. Anyway, make sure to like the video and help us reach 5 likes to celebrate factory work. And remember, you can still check out qualitycontent.com for some Swick clothing while supplies last, link below. All right, so this is not actually the only place I've done work. I also did some in-between episode enchantment cycling over at the village, so I want to head there now, show you what I've done, and also the biggest thorn in my side has just been continuing to get XP to keep this thing alive. So I find that trading is a good way to do that. So I'm gonna bring over some wood, just do a little bit of stick trading for more emeralds, and then I can show you what I've got over there. Also, I know that the hair situation on my head and face getting a little out of hand. It's been a busy week, and I'm gonna fix it, I promise. Anyway, so hey, so good to see you again. I know eventually I need to get these villagers back over in closer proximity, but I would like to do some trading. Can you please help me to get more mending? The reason why I want to get more mending now is because I believe it's better to mend when you don't have unbreaking and then add the unbreaking afterwards, because you'll get more bang for your buck without the mending, and then you add the unbreaking 3. And I will say, the inflation is off the charts here, dude. I have had to do, man, it's a good thing wood is such an easy resource for us with the tree farm, because these mans are extortionists. Like, you start giving them some trades and they're like, oh, this guy's got some goods. I'm gonna jack up my prices, supply and demand, and this guy's demanding some emeralds, so looks like he's willing to pay whatever I have to offer. At least he traded a lot more because he did some restonks and price jacking up along the way. Hey, so there we go. All right, beautiful. We have that basically like halfway mended up, which is awesome. I added a couple more villagers. Let me show you what they're selling. So we've got our boy over here offering unbreaking 3 at a disastrously awful price. I have never spent longer in my life cycling enchantments to try to get unbreaking 3. I watched the entirety of the Formula 1 race cycling enchantments, and only after the race was finished did I get unbreaking 3. I'm taking whatever price. That's fine. You can extort me all you want, I suppose. Okay, so we had that. But on the way to getting unbreaking 3, I also had another villager just tempt me with something I simply could not pass up, and that is sharpness 5 for 21. That's actually probably the best sharpness deal I've ever seen. That's dang near close to the bare minimum you can get for a level 5 enchant. So I couldn't pass it up. So we have sharpness 5, we have unbreaking 3, we have fortune 3. Oh yeah, that's the other one, fortune 3. I totally forgot. I got fortune 3 along the way, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna make our lives easier when it comes to getting hold of iron and gold and stuff like that. We're mining for it. So this is the guy I first spent. We got fortune 3 for 28. Not the best deal of all time, but it's something, and we're sticking with it. So that's our updates. Now that we've gotten our pickaxe mended back up, let me get some fortune 3. God, it's gonna be 9. How much is unbreaky gonna be to put on there? 6. I never know what I should do first, and should I do the enchantment maximization route in order to, I don't know. I'm gonna I think you wanna do the most expensive one first, actually. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be like, oh, it's only 10. Okay, that's not terrible. So we got a pretty sick pickaxe there. And then over here, we got sharpness 5. I'm gonna wanna put mending on this, but you know, I'll need 3 levels. Unbreaking 3 is not gonna matter quite as much because I'm gonna be getting lots of XP there. I actually, though, I will say it's a good thing I wasn't looking for efficiency, because I don't think I saw efficiency cycle once the entire time. I saw it once before when I was getting mending, though. Anyway, back to home. I'm realizing if I brought my existing emeralds, I could have traded for another unbreaking 3 book, but it's cool. The sword's not gonna expire anytime soon, so that should be just fine. Now I wanna set up drawers, because I think for the moment, that's kind of gonna be the way that we sort items until we get brass up and running, because you can only add filters, as far as I'm aware, on brass create machinery. I don't think you can do it with anything below that. So let's look up some drawer recipes here. They did change how you make drawers, so it's a more create-centric recipe, which requires zinc ingots. It's not terribly bad, but you know, it's not entirely what I'm used to, and it does mean that we might have to go get some more zinc, although I think for our purposes right now, until we get like huge amounts of certain materials, like we should be okay with not having to make a bunch of upgrades. So let's make some oak trims for the moment. At least, you know, wood is a pretty easy resource for us to come by, and that's not gonna be holding us up too much. So there we go. Let's get, I don't know, how many are we gonna need? Let's do 12 for now. And then I wonder, what are all the different, oh, that's actually an interesting way to do it. So you can stone cut it into like any of the different types of things that you want. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna just keep them individual drawers for the time being, and then maybe we'll work on adding some upgrades to things that are gonna need it. Maybe like the kelp and the wood and stuff like that. So what I think I'm gonna do here basically is I'm gonna stop the conveyor belt from processing for a moment, and I can just, if I just break this right here, it's gonna cut the conveyor belt, and that way I'm not, you know, getting more and more blocks that are just flying up here with nowhere to go, and then I'm gonna create a little bit of a mess while I break this stuff. All right, I added some temporary chests here. Are you ready? And kaboom. All right, well, here we go. Hopefully it's not too difficult, but then we get basically one drawer per each of the different 4 resources that we get that are coming up from the drill. And that should keep it nice and tidy so that then we can basically export whichever one. Because obviously we're gonna be focused on andesite primarily, although I bet you there are uses for the other ones at some point. But then when we need to use those in the future, we can start, conveying them out to wherever they need to go. Look, I know aesthetics are very important, so let me make sure that because I have to add another drawer here, this is holding up to the whole design principle that we have here. We would not want to mess up our design philosophy. So there we go. Now I'm hoping that if I add the drawers here to each of these, and then add the respective resource into each, that once it starts coming up from the bottom, it can insert from that side. If not, I might just have to, wire it up facing a different direction. I think that would be like worst case scenario. Actually, let me put the andesite at the end, because that seems like the easiest way that I'll be able to get the belt hooked up to it, whatever belt we're gonna use. So it'll just give me the most amount of real estate, I feel like. So let's do that. And now add the andesite funnel here. And now I'm gonna hope that this works properly when I go and reinitiate. All right, so moment of truth here. Let's get it rolling again and see if the drawers accept from that side. Pretty please, pretty please. It's working? Oh, you love to see it. And it goes into the proper one. Let's go. Perfect, perfect. So now we'll be able to watch. Okay, so now that has 1 in it. This has 2 in it. This has 2. This has 2. And we'll be able to see it increment as yep, now it has 3. Cool. All right, and then we can upgrade those. And this way we have huge amounts of capacity. It's sorting itself out. And now we can do the same thing over here with the apples, the saplings, the sticks, and the logs. Oh, but yeah, obviously first I should try to, dump this stuff out and get it all in the proper things. I could do a drawer controller system at some point if I wanted to get that set up, but manual for now. I will say, because the stack limit is 32, maybe in the interest of not having these overflow and just start plopping items off the end, I'll get some upgrades made. Recipe for these, still the same. We can make 8. So hey, maybe it is good that I didn't buy an unbreaking book, although I still have a little bit more left over here. Let me just add an upgrade to each of these. Boom, boom, and boom, boom. And that brings us up to 1,024 stacks. I think that will hold us over for a little bit. All right, so also in between episodes, obviously I needed to get a lot of the goldenrod stuff and, crush it in order to make a bunch of belts and stuff like that. I have to feel like there's going to be a better way, or maybe I can grow the goldenrod stuff. I still haven't actually tried bone mealing it to see, but anyway, I've got belts now that'll hopefully last us for a while. I didn't make any new andesite machines or kinetic mechanisms, so I'm hoping these 7 will hold us over for now, but let's do this same sort of sorting system. So we have 2 andesite funnels here. I think I'm gonna probably have to I'm gonna need to at least do 1 more recipe. I might need to do 1 more after that, but we'll see. Let's just start off with this, and then we can go from there. So again, the idea is I need a shaft, and we'll get a belt going out from there with an andesite funnel, and we'll sort this out. Oh, by the way, do you like these lights that I set up here, the white laser lamps? Yeah, the inconvenient part is they have to be redstone powered. So behind every single one of these, I had to wire up a redstone torch with redstone. So that's why in some of the locations, like here, it became a little tricky to do that, and I put it on the floor instead. But anyway, forgive me. So we need 4 slots here to insert these into. So let's add, there'll be like 1 spot of buffer, I suppose, here, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, because we need 1 for sticks, saplings, apples, and logs. So we'll do a shaft here, and then actually, what am I doing? Shaft right there, and then we'll connect it with the belt. Very nice. And then all we have to do is drawer. I'll put the drawers facing the opposite direction. I can't go too far in this direction is the only problem, because then that leads out into the water. So my factory can't go too much further out, and it might hit the sugarcane farm as well. But, oh, by the way, yeah, I just did a little, I'm gonna hide this all, but I did a little mechanism in here just to speed up from the slow input shaft over there to have the belt going a little bit quicker so that we can hopefully clear up this backlog of lots and lots of stuff in these chests. Don't you just love the sound of the factory blocks getting put down. It's so satisfying. They also, I think when you have a certain amount of them filling up an area, you get occasional like creaky factory noises that just end up playing in the background. It's kind of unnerving, but also cool at the same time. And I wish that you guys would get off of the conveyor belt, please. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just put upgrades in each of them. It's not that expensive, even though we probably don't need it for the apples. I am going to put the logs on that side because that'll just be the easiest to pump out of. And then we got sticks and saplings and apples and all that stuff. So let's get it pre-fed in. There we go with logs. And I'll do sticks next, apples and saplings. Okay, and now funnels on all of them, right? Can't remember. No, wrong way. Don't do that, you idiot. Stop. I needed to shift. I never remember if it by default points out or in, but I need to shift each time I put it down. Okay, shift. There we go. Now it faces in. Boom, boom. And then this one. Here we go. Yeah, watch the filtering begin, dude. Oh, it's so satisfying. Look at that. It's so good. I'm very pleased when a plan comes together. What can I say? Hold on. Let me make this a nice little architectural pillar. Yes, I know I have some stuff to do in order to polish up this space. Next episode, this area will look continuous with the rest. But yeah, there we go. It's going to take a little bit of time before this is, completely emptied out, but it should empty out the buffer, and then we don't have to worry about it too much anymore. And then we're gonna wanna start processing these logs off of this. Okay, let's get a quick update on our progress. Okay, so automatic forest, that's still where it is, but we're about to go through this process here. We can now check this off because we're manually generating andesite, or automatically generating andesite, and we've also got it not with an andesite lift that looks like this with a cable pulley system, but we have it coming up to our base, which is the idea here. So that is sorted out. We are getting sand via the sediment, so that's good, but the next thing is we're gonna have to do encased fans in order to wash out the sand and get the clay. So that will happen over here, but I want to focus for now on processing the logs. We got a little bit more real estate. I'm going to need a little more. So efficiency 5 would be really, oh, hi guys. This is going to be future factory space. I'm going to have to get you kicked out of here. You can't be here like this, dude. It's whoa. I am a powerful factory owner and you shall not interfere with my business operations. My goodness, the nerve of these skeletons, I swear, dude. Anyway, I'm gonna need 3 mechanical saws. So I believe that that's gonna cost us some resources here. Oh boy, we're gonna need to press 12 iron sheets. But did I show you? I put a chest on the press. I put a chest on the press. So look, no longer do I have to just fling things like someone who flings things. Instead, I can put it into the chest and then it will press and end up in the other chest. So it's just cleaner and better. And I'm sure at some point I'm going to have to automate that for some future mechanism or something like that. But okay, cool. I hope we have the lead that we're going to need for all of those saw blades, right? I did a little bit of ore mining in between episodes, so I tried to top things off a little bit. Having a hard time finding many diamonds actually around the places that we've already explored and lit up in that under that cave area, so might have to strip mine at some point. Not looking forward to that. I do think at some point we're gonna have to build a huge, mining machine in order to automatically mine massive areas. So maybe I can just wait until that happens and, I can manually hold myself over until then. Okay, so we need ourselves 3 saw blades here. And then what was it? A little bit more of that. And then saw blades, there we go. And then combine them with the andesite machines that I put back into here. But don't worry, the whole goal, the end of this chapter 1, is we're gonna have all of these andesite machines and kinetic mechanisms like fully automated. So it should be very smooth at that point. So I will say, I've been enjoying using belts as a way not just to transport items, but also to transport rotation. You might have caught it on our trip up from the drill, but rather than using cogs, right? If I do cogs here, what's gonna happen is that this is gonna be spinning in the wrong direction. So I could add a gear shift here if I wanted to in order to get a new belt coming off of there, going in the direction I want. But alternatively, the only downside to this is the fact that well, yes, belts are, a little bit pricey and annoying to make, but I can do this. And if I connect with a belt here, now this is already spinning in the proper direction and I can just ready to go. I don't need to add a gear shift to it. So I've been liking doing this. The one thing that ends up happening is that so many bats end up getting caught, obviously, on the belt and coming all the way up from underground, and they just fill this area up. And I know you're going to become attached to the bats. You're not going to like that I am inclined to make them go away. So I won't do that during the episode, but if they happen to disappear in between episodes, then I don't know. It's a mystery how that could have happened. Where could the bats have gone? Who knows? Nobody really knows. More andesite funnels are needed for what we're going to be doing here, but okay, I'm going to have to rack my brain a little bit on how to do this because I believe that the mechanical saws have to be spinning in the opposite direction of the belts. So that means, but all three of them need to be spinning in the same direction. So it makes it slightly more complex as to how to accomplish that. Actually, you know what? Encased chain drives are not that expensive. So that's what I'm going to use because they're kind of made for that very purpose. Okay, so with the encased chain drives, the way they work is when you apply rotation to one of the inputs, all of them spin in the same direction. So I'm hoping that what we can do is this. It gets it spinning opposite. And I hope that that's correct. And then what I need to do is I need to apply a recipe filter here. And now, just a quick little test. All right, here we go. Yep, strips it, turns it into planks, and then, come on, we got ourselves some slabs. Really, really easy, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna just get rid of that for now. We know it's working. So now I just need to, I think if I just put a drawer right here on the other side and get a funnel input, I don't even need another belt. I don't even know if I needed a belt there, to be completely honest with you, but I did it anyway. So, all right, so oak drawer, we'll do this here, and then we'll put a funnel on that, and tell me you're gonna work, Yeah, let's go, dude. God, create just works. It just works so nicely. And you don't have to worry about it like loading things too quickly right onto this. It just takes as many as it can handle, and then everything else just kindly waits. So there we go. Now we can get all of our logs processing into planks and our bats processing into not being bats anymore when they fly into the saws. I don't know if there is a point at which it's like, I don't really need any more slabs, but we're good. So that checks off log stripper and plank cutter. Right. Yep. I did it. I made it happen. Why don't you let me check you off? Do I need? Oh, I didn't check. Did I not check this off properly? I need to have a strip log in my inventory in order for this to work. Just consider it done. Oh yeah, this one we're definitely gonna need an upgrade for because that is gonna fill up with planks real quickly. I feel like drawers and upgrades I should probably just get over into my favorites list because I'm gonna need these a lot. All right, but at least it's funny, like the emeralds are so much easier to get via trading, and yet they're the best versus the diamonds, which are much harder to come by but aren't nearly as good. So, all right, there we go. Now maybe I should even double up. I'm gonna double upgrade this thing because it's gonna take quite a lot. Wait, did something? What are you doing? Why didn't you process? No, it stopped. Why did it stop working? So the reason why it stopped working is because a bat flew into the saw and jammed the mechanism. It's a good thing that I smelted up some glass in between episodes so that I can close this up so that bats can no longer do this to themselves in the future. You absolute fools. Don't worry, guys, I'm adding caution tape here so that the bats will see this and they will know not to try to fly into the mechanism. So we have the safety glass and the caution tape, which, you know what, inside of the factory, safety first, everybody. Never a good idea to jump onto the mechanisms and stand in the gears. It's painful, really bad for your toes. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm here for safety demonstrations. It's actually be like a funny set to like do a mock safety video or something like that using Create. I bet somebody's done that. All right, next up, I want to focus into getting drawers set up for the strainers. So I want to just reconfirm the drops. So I can't open the chest because of this block, but surely I can do this without making a mess. And now I can open it. Okay, I don't think that the granite cobblestone was generated. I think that was just me mining and one fell into the hopper. So we get the different types of sand and some is just directly clay balls. And I was looking here inside of bulk washing and it does look like all the different kinds of sands will end up as clay. So I think honestly the most efficient way to do this, because basically we're just bulk washing everything. All we're doing here is we're getting clay. So I think just putting it into a 2x2 drawer here is going to be the easiest way to do this, because it's all just going to be exported out anyway and either bulk washed or it'll just already be clay. And I'm hoping that clay itself doesn't get, okay, it doesn't get bulk washed, so it should just bypass the encased fan. And I could just actually, you know what, rather than even putting them into drawers, why don't I just set up the encased fan so everything just insta gets processed into clay, and then I can just have all the clay end up in its own singular drawer and just skip a step. All right, so an encased fan needs 3 more plates on top of the one that we have there, so we just throw them in there and it's awesome. Oh, here's a question actually, because I was experimenting with this in a test world, trying to figure out how the heck to make it work. So it's kind of I don't know how to go further than this in the automation at the moment, and that is, once I bring the kelp and the clay together in the mixer, I don't know how to get it out without having to have a brass funnel that has a filter to only take out the finished algae, right? Because as it stands right now, if I have like a chute on the bottom of the mixer, it'll just, as soon as things go into the mixer, they're gonna come out. I need it to only export the finished product. So if any of you have insight into doing that without needing brass, feel free to let me know. If that didn't make any sense, don't worry about it. I'm gonna have to figure it out somehow, or maybe you simply do need brass. I guess we're just gonna see. Okay, so we got that. Now, encased fan I need to make before we start getting the belt set up there. So it is a propeller, and then is this our last andesite machine? That's all we get. Hopefully that's all we need. We still have 3 andesite funnels. I think we ended up with basically the perfect amount of machines so that we can kind of do what we're hoping for here. All right, I do need to get this thing to be, let's see, where do we want the encased? I guess we can just keep things, nice and compact here, right? And just do a short little belt here, encased fan right in the middle. Or maybe what I need to do is I need to get the encased fan going super quickly. So we'll see where the easiest place is to get it going super quickly. Now that I've spent all this time turbo hyper speeding this, I think I recall that the encased fan doesn't actually process the materials any faster. It just has a longer range when you have more input speed. So whatever, it's fine. Encased fan down, it's pointing the right direction. And then I think what we need to do is just probably that, and then do a little pressure plate here in front of it, get the water down, and there we go. Wacky washing. All right, and now hopefully everything will get processed as intended here. And then on the other side of this, we can just put our drawer. So this is where the belts can end. If I can just place it properly. There we go. Let's get the belt connected like that. Boom. And shall we see if, obviously it's going to be beautified, okay? I swear it will be beautified. Let's just see if it will work. Here comes the sand, very slowly, but it is working. It is doing, and you're going to stop, and you're going to turn into clay, right? Not quite. I need to get it to stop in front of there, and then, So option number 2 is I've created the slowest conveyor belt in the history of the universe, and it works. I have stepped down our already stepped down speed another 3 times, which I have then accidentally, it's kind of had the proxy effect of slowing down the encased fan, but I don't think it matters because, again, I think that's just the range and not actually how quickly it works. So it's slow, but it does work. I think in the future, there's a way to, again, use brass filters and things like that in order to make it only, send things into a chute or something like that after it's turned into clay. But for now, I do think this will actually work. So let's put that back on. And if it's already clay, then it should not process its motion. But at the same time, the strainers, they collect things very slowly too. And so it honestly might sync up really well with the speed at which the strainers are doing their thing. We might have to do multiple of, actually, you know what we could do eventually, maybe not now, is set up conveyor belts in parallel that all get reached by this one fan. And then we'll be able to operate 3 times as fast. But for now, let's put down the drawer. It'll hold the clay and then get our andesite funnel in there. And now let's watch the magic happen very slowly. But it is in fact happening. All right, and wait for it. It's gonna go in. You just gotta wait. I'm starting to think it might have been a better idea to I might end up bringing the encased fan backwards a little bit, because that way I could kind of bring this tank back a bit, and just instead of having the strainers, you know, in this line, they can be horizontal, and then I can get multiple belts going at once. But hey, we got clay. It's working. I may not need an upgrade quite as badly, but I think our clay is generating a little slower than the other components here, but it is automated. So let's go, dude. I'm gonna do one little test here and just see if maybe I can do that. It's gonna go the wrong way, but hold on, this is where I introduce the gear shift. I'm just trying to fine tune it so that I'm, you know, maximizing how much can be processed. So we do that, and now we flip it around, and let's see. If this is enough time, this is gonna be going a little bit quicker, because instead of an additional step down at the end, it's skipped a step down. So come on, work, do good things. Make clay, optimize. Are you gonna do it? You're gonna do it? It's gonna be on the borderline. Oh yeah, it did, because it's only a 25% chance of it working. So it did look like it went right to the edge there before it disappeared. So 75% chance it just disappears, 25 that it works. But okay. Well, anyway, in between episodes, I can try to continue fine tuning, but that means we have clay is automated. We have our andesite and other stones automated, all going into upgraded drawers. We have our tree farm still inserting items. Oh my goodness, but it's almost cleared out the queue. And then we have the planks automatically processing here. And now we have a whole bunch of slabs ready to go. And the only thing that we have left is really the kelp to bring in. And then we got to start mixing all of our ingredients together. But the kelp we already have, we just got to bring a conveyor belt in. But I think we've made some good progress here. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you like the factory and all this stuff. I'll try to keep beautifying what I set up each time in between episodes, and, you know, hiding the gears and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for tuning into another episode. Make sure to like the video if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more. And this is really fun. We'll keep on going.